Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Steven back with another video. Today's video we'll be talking about Kevin Durant. As y'all know, recently he has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm basically giving my thoughts in who should trade for KD and things like that. But before we get into the video, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn those post notifications on so you can join Nerdy Gang. And let's jump into the video. Cue the intro.
Lee, can you turn it up, please?
Spear, you spazzed on this motherfucker.
I can't stack money to get no chrome heart. You got a bad bitch, you gon' choose who they want. You may gon' move up at my shooters, they gon' dump. We feel some pressure, we gon' move like we Trump. Yeah, my niggas say don't drugs like a habit. Yeah, I feel the pressure, I'm still a savage. I keep my distance from these niggas. Wasn't back then, but now I'm shitting on these niggas. I told the rocket when I move. I'm too poppin', no, I can't go back to school. This one meeting, you a fool. My shooter shootin', check the news. Thought I was sick the way I popped out with them blues. I got a bag on me. Used to be respond, get a laugh out of me. You insecure, no, that ain't me. You living life, no, it ain't free. Can't show no peace when I be walking through the street. Move to LA, yeah, I'd be glad to. Thinking about the shit I didn't know.
So for the first team that I think that should trade for Kevin Durant is the Toronto Raptors. I think Toronto Raptors have enough assets to convince the Nets to give up Kevin Durant. You have Scotty Barnes, which I love Scotty Barnes, but will Scotty Barnes ever be on that Kevin Durant level? Will he ever be a top 5 to top 10 players? Because to me, I see Scotty Barnes as a all-star level kind of guy. I don't see him as that cornerstone franchise player in my eyes. Now, maybe the Raptors see something different in Scotty Barnes, but I feel like the Raptors, they can give up Scotty Barnes, a couple of first-round picks. You have Fran VanVleet, and you can maybe even throw Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam hasn't really been that franchise level player that I thought he could be. Ever since that championship run, he's just kind of really just been a solid all-star. Okay, he's not that franchise caliber player that I thought he would be. So they clearly have enough assets to trade for Kevin Durant. Now, will the Raptors actually go through with it? I feel like the Raptors maybe won't go through with it if that requires them giving up Scotty Barnes. I feel like if they can get a package where they don't have to give up Scotty Barnes, I think the Raptors will pull the trigger, because it's just kind of like the Kawhi Leonard situation, but a little bit different, because KD has a couple of years left on his deal, which means it's not like when they traded for Kawhi, he only had 1 year left on his deal. So you were just banking on that you had a successful season, which led to you guys winning a championship. Now, you have 4 years for KD, so it's not like you have to win a championship your first or maybe even second year. But I feel like that third and fourth year, you have to win a championship, because if you don't win a championship, then the whole trade was just not worth it, because you give up so much just not to receive a championship. And what the next team I have is the Miami Heat. Miami, I think, is an interesting team because they already are a championship caliber team, but one of the main reasons they are that is because of Bam Adebayo. Now, Bam Adebayo, I think it's a superstar. I think he's a franchise, cornerstone caliber guy. But do you give that up, a young guy like Bam? Do you give up for a 33-year-old KD? I mean, because if the Heat want KD, you like the Nets are not accepting anything that don't include Bam and Tyler Hero. If Bam is not included in that deal, Miami are not getting KD. So Miami would have to give up Bam, Tyler Hero, a couple of picks, and I'll even throw in Duncan Robinson in there. So they would have to give up that much. But I feel like when you have Jimmy Butler and you have Kevin Durant, that already makes you a number one contender in the East. I feel like they can maybe try to sign DeAndre Ayton, which it don't look like a deal's going to get done anytime soon. So maybe they can try to get DeAndre Ayton and just trade Bam. We don't really know how that contract situation will work, but I feel like if the Heat will want KD, Bam will have to be gone. But I think KD to the Heat would make perfect sense. I mean, you have Jimmy Butler, who's a two-way player, I don't really see Jimmy Butler as a number one option. I do see him as maybe a really, really great number two option on the championship team. So you bring in KD, you can maybe sign a couple of guys to the roster to, help facilitate both of those guys. And I think you can really make a run at a championship. The next team I feel like should trade for KD is the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, as y'all guys know, I'm a huge Pelicans fan, and I would love to have KD. But if we would want to make that deal, we would have to give up Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram is a superstar. This man has been balling ever since he's gotten to the Pelicans. But are you willing to give up Brandon Ingram, Jackson Hayes, who's been improving steadily, and a couple of picks for a 33-year-old KD? Like, you have to weigh the option. I mean, KD and Zion on the same team. My God, that shit's going to be an amazing duo. But I feel like New Orleans is such a young team that trading for KD right now, where you're really not in a ready win mindset as we speak, would it make sense? But at the same time, I feel like if New Orleans decide to pull the trigger, I wouldn't be mad at New Orleans. I would be like, okay, you know what? If KD can bring us a championship out of one of his 4 years, I would be like, you know what? I would have had mine giving up Brandon Ingram and Jackson Hayes. But again, for anyone to trade KD needs to be like, he needs to guarantee the championship ring to the team he's going to. Because I don't think anyone's really no risk. KD is 33 years old. So he's already up there in age. I feel like a team like, you need to guarantee us a championship or even something, because I feel like any team that trade for KD and he don't deliver a championship, again, everyone's gonna look back like, damn, I just gave up my young core just to not win a championship. But I feel like New Orleans Pelicans should highly consider trading for him. And New Orleans is a small market team, so KD would elevate them even higher, because New Orleans isn't in free agency. KD would never think about joining New Orleans. But when the next team I have is the Suns. Look, I feel like the Suns wouldn't. The way people are making it seem like on Twitter and on ESPN is that KD can possibly really go to the Suns. But bro, if I'm Brooklyn, if Devin Booker isn't in that deal, I'm hanging up the phone. Bro, you need to give me Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, and a couple of picks in. Maybe even DeAndre Ayton, because if Devin Booker isn't in that deal, I'm not trading. Because Devin Booker, an elite guy, I think he's an MVP caliber guy. I'm not giving up nothing if I'm not trading for KD. If I'm the Brooklyn, then I'm not trading KD if Devin Booker isn't included in that package, because it just doesn't make sense. Because if the Suns can trade for KD and still keep Devin Booker, I think the Suns will probably win the championship next season, because you have Chris Paul, who's still great. You have Devin Booker, who's an MVP caliber guy, and now you have an MVP in Kevin Durant. My God, the Suns. I think I would bet my money on the Suns winning a championship this year if they can trade for Kevin Durant and not give up Devin Booker. And the next team I have is the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies doesn't really have a lot of assets outside of John Morant, but they have a lot of great picks that they can trade for Brooklyn. Now, Brooklyn will really want a lot of young stars and pick. Now, you can maybe even trade Jared Jackson Jr., Brains, and maybe a couple of picks for KD, because KD and John Morant duo is just nasty. Like, my God, would that be an entertaining duo to watch as a Memphis Grizzlies fan. And Grizzlies, they haven't really had a superstar like KD since never. The Memphis have never had a superstar like KD. John Morant, he's approaching there, but John Morant's not on KD level right now. But if you can get KD with John Morant on the same team, my God, I feel like Memphis is realistically can definitely grab Kevin Durant. And Grizzlies, again, they did pretty good this season, finishing in the top 2 in the West. So having KD there would definitely put them in the NBA Finals conversation. And with the last team is the Golden State Warriors. Golden State even has already been in talks saying they're willing to trade for Kevin Durant. They're willing to give up a lot to get Kevin Durant back on the team. And look, you pick KD again on the championship team, bro. Golden State ain't losing. Come on, they got Steph, Clay, Draymond. That's the whole band back together. They're not losing. They're like, you have KD on the 4 years, yeah, they're not losing. They're not losing for the next couple of years. As long as KD is healthy and being regular stuff KD on the Warriors, man, Golden State ain't losing anytime soon. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn those post notifications on so you can join Noti Gang. And I'm out. Peace.
It was me and my bros, we was 10 toes on that front line. Know who got your back and who was with you when it's crunch time. I only hang with they one niggas, they by my side. Don't hesitate, they let they guns fly. Got shooters who fell in love with gunfire. Gun smoke, we let them have it if they want more. We got motion like a tight end. My niggas shoot guns for fun, got switches, ain't no fighting. Tryna make it out the hood, but most of my niggas dying. Tryna make it out who I'ma spend his bag with. Tryna run it up for these hard times that I ain't had shit. My mind can't even suck the fact that I'm a savage. Bitch, come to me on my birthday, no you can't have shit. I blow this glizzy in an outfit that I brought from Nemo. This first body on that Gen 5, he still say fuck it, keep it.